Yo!
This is probably the most unluckiest race I've had in the 2026 season so far. The Surbiton Sprint, the most competitive race that my workplace has to offer. And honestly, it has been very brutal, the last championship that we did. One going from August all the way to November. Sadly, I wasn't able to get the November one, but that doesn't matter, or the August one. I was able to get September and October. But it's a very good championship, and all the locals at the track are absolutely amazing, and I love all of them. They have amazing battles, and we have amazing battles, and it's very competitive. Today, it is wet conditions, which are my personal favourite. After a Thursday night showdown a few months ago, actually, it was November, it was before my GoPro broke and before the last round of the championship, I discovered my love for the wet at this track. And I've adored it ever since. Even at work when it's raining, I try to take a kart out as much as I can because I just love racing in these conditions. So, it's going to be the normal format. It's going to be 4 heats and then 1 final. Hopefully we do really well, and let's get a brilliant start to this new championship. Let's go over the competition. So, the first driver is Turk. He's been coming to the track for years now, but I don't have to worry about him too much because he has not actually driven in the wet at Surbiton that much compared to me. The next driver is Calvin. He's one of the newest drivers on the grid, but he has lots of experience in the karting background, so I thought I would have to worry about him quite a bit. Then we have Michael. Michael has been going to the track just as long as me, but he is not the best in wet conditions. He more shines in dry conditions, so I don't have to worry about him too much. Now, the top 3 drivers we have to worry about. Vivek. Vivek is very experienced in every single field of karting, dry and wet, and he's very good in the wet at Surbiton, so he's someone to worry about. Then we have Abby. Abby has been going to the track at the same time as Turk. Those two kind of started their careers in karting here, kind of. And she is a big worry because she is rapid round Surbiton in the wet. I've seen that firsthand from previous races. And now the last one is Sid, who we are going to call today is the little demon, because he is the one that dominated the track today with me, and he is the one that's going to cause me the most issues. And in general, Sid is rapid, especially in the dry, because he's very light compared to me. I think the weight difference between both of us is about 20 kg. So in the dry normally that would be a big difference, but luckily in the wet I have a slight advantage. Not only because I am slightly quicker, ego boosting a bit, but also because of track knowledge, because I am at this track almost every weekend for work, compared to him where he does lots of the events and a few practice sessions, which are every couple weeks or so, or even possibly every month. So yeah, track knowledge is going to dominate today.
So don't do it here.
Yeah. I do it in that corner.
Excuse me, come back. I didn't see you. Yeah, alright. Excuse me, you have no permission to.
You're not allowed to film me.
Yeah, shut up, Caleb. I can say what I want to you. Right, let's get gridded up and let's start this race. The flag is waved and let's go racing. Right, already we're going to jump this other driver that joined us called Luke off the line, and we're going to dive down the inside of Turk, and we're actually going to be able to commit round the outside of Vivek, which I was very impressed about. I did not think there would be the grip for that. Now our next two targets are Abby and Sid. Sid is going to dominate part of this race because I've completely forgotten the wet lines from the Thursday Night League that I did at Surbiton, so I'm being a bit of a horrendous driver at the moment. And also, I've kind of got to realise that I've got a horrible kart, because as you can see down the straight, even though I'm right behind Abby, I am gaining distance to her quite a bit because she has got a significantly faster kart than me going down the straights. So she's got that straight line speed. I don't, but I have the cornering advantage because I know you can go flat out through these corners if you actually get the line right, which I'm clearly not doing because you saw me having to brake through there when I know, and you will see by the end of all of this, that you don't actually have to brake going through that first corner going out of white tyre. Now going down the straight and into the S, Abby has taken a bit of a wider line. I've been able to catch up because I know where the grip is on the circuit, and now we've got to find a way to get past her and Sid pretty quickly because I think those two are going to start a battle soon, so we've got to try take advantage of that. Through here I take the perfect line, we're able to get side by side with Abby and behind Sid, but I don't get a move done. I get a slight bump from Vivek and I'm able to dive it down the inside of Abby, but you'll see as we go down the straight, the kart parity is very clear. She's got a faster kart, I've got a slower kart, and even Vivek's been able to take advantage of that, and he was able to dive down my inside there. Now him and Abby are going to battle, which has slowed him down a bit, so I've now got to try find an opportunity to get down the inside of Vivek and try get that place secured. I'm able to take all the curb there and go almost flat out. I do give him a slight bump and I dive it down his inside. That's kind of just to say, yeah, I'm there, and also kind of a bit of revenge for him slamming into the back of me. I don't even know if it was him or not. I'm just guessing it was because he was the one that was behind me before and he was able to overtake. Now, Abby actually goes sideways through that corner, which slows her down, but I'm able to just keep that distance from her, and I'm trying to find a place to just get that overtake done and make sure we can get an overtake done. Now, Sid has been overtaken by Abby, and now we're going to take advantage of that because Sid has gone slightly wider. I've got a better exit, and I'm going to dive it down his inside. And going down the straight, we are going to make a bit of contact with him, but that's not too bad. Now, going down the straight, we're thinking, let's just dive it down the inside, and we do, and we are managed to get past Sid pretty quickly, and we are now able to go catch up to Abby. Now, Sid, from this point on, is not going to be the threat. It's going to be Abby, because she is rapid in the wet, and she has a faster kart. But I have the advantage through the corners, and that's pretty obvious going into the S, because I'm able to brake a lot later than Abby, and actually get closer to her without compromising my exit speed. So, I have the entry and exit speed, she only has the speed down the straights, and she knows how to take the other corners really well as well. Going through here, I'm able to make up a bit of ground on her because she went slightly wide going into the S. We both take a lot of curb. You have to take lots of curb to get through the corners here. I rotate it properly. We're able to go almost flat out through there. Abby's drifting too much to the side. I'm going to try to take advantage of that and dive it down her inside through here, but I know that's not going to work because that straight line speed of her car is absolutely ridiculous compared to mine, and I just can't do anything about it. I'm thinking of diving down the inside, but no, I decide to back out and let's just try find a move somewhere else. I'm trying to set up a switchback, but then I forget it is wet weather, and that switchback completely fails because I forget that grip doesn't exist when it comes to wet races. Now going through here, we are going to try to take advantage of this, go a bit slower and try grab that inside. I do give her a slight bump, but that is fine. She's going to get her revenge a couple laps later anyway, but I am now ahead. I am keeping that inside line because I know that kart's top speed now, so I need to try defend as much as I can with the kart I have, because I know I'm going quick through the corners. Just when it comes to straight line speed, I know I am not doing the best on that part when it comes to this kart that I have. I know this kart, I can feel that it has amazing steering and it's got some good brakes on it, but the acceleration out of the corners is horrendous. And I've just noticed Abby's dived it down the inside after going slightly wide. Now that's even more catch up we got to do, and also I can feel the suit leaking onto my actual suit, so that's going to be a big clean up job to do when I get home. Anyway, Now let's try catch up to Abby again and try take advantage of the corners. Now through here, both of us take lots of curb. She gets a bit more curb and a better exit. But through here, I take the right amount of curb. I'm able to go almost flat out. I catch the curb there and we rotate the car a lot more than her. And we are able to get a way better exit while she drifts. I'm thinking, do I try grab a slipstream? And I try do that and it actually kind of works. She is slightly pulling away and then I dive it down her inside, and it is quite aggressive going into that corner, especially in the wet, because you're going to kind of force them out of the way going into the second part of that S. Otherwise a big incident is going to happen, or the around the outside move is going to fail horribly. Now let's try keep Abby behind us as much as we can, and let's try create a big gap. And we did. We were able to create that massive gap to Abby. I think it was about 3 seconds. This is the last lap, and that is the end of heat 1. Now, that was actually not too bad of a heat. We know the capability of the kart, and I know my own capability around this track now. So, let's find out how fast we were, and then let's go into heat 2.
I'll take that, you know, I'll take that. Fastest lap.
That was actually a surprisingly good first heat. I managed to get a 32.453, which actually isn't too bad considering this is the first time in the wet for a long time for me, especially for a hot lapping session. The second fastest time was set by Abby, which was a 32.785. So I am comfortably ahead in terms of pace. But let's see if I actually can keep any consistency when it comes to these lap times. The green flag has been waved and let's go racing. Immediately I'm able to jump Vivek off the line because of my weight advantage, because I'm just slightly lighter than Vivek. Round the outside, I go into the S of Abby, and going into here, she doesn't notice me and I sadly spin her. I think she was trying to force the door closed, but I was committing to my line and I did not want to back out. Now our next target is Sid. He's a bit slower going into here because he doesn't know the proper lines. I know the proper line, and going through here I'm able to catch up to him immediately. I'm able to go down the inside. Never mind, the yellow flag is out because Abby is still in the grass after that small crash we had. So I've got to back out a bit. I was being a bit cheeky and trying to stay next to Sid, but I decided after, let's just stay back and stop being cheeky. Right, let's hopefully go back to green flag conditions soon. We are on restrictor if you haven't noticed. I do not blame my manager for doing that, because knowing us, we would have all just gone back to racing speed immediately and probably caused even more crashes. Now, going on to the straight, we actually finally get off the restrictor and let's get back to racing. Going down the straight, I'm going to commit down the inside. Never mind, Sid is able to cover off. I do not expect him to brake as much as he did because I'm used to braking quite late into that corner. I do give him a few love taps, but that's not too bad. Going through here, I completely missed the curb and I create a slight gap to him. Now, through these corners, I'm able to get the advantage, grab all of the curb, and here, he still goes wide. I brake a bit earlier, turn in, and we're able to get past him down the inside just before the uphill corner, which is turn 1. Now, let's try to defend our position against Sid. Luckily, I managed to get a decently quick kart. Kart 2 is one of the quicker karts in the Surbiton fleet, so that is an advantage I'm going to take advantage of when it comes to straight line speed. Now, let's go over our hot lap and explain how I take this track. So, going through here, I go for the inside because the inside has a lot more grip than everywhere else. Going through here, I try to take as much curb as I can, but I don't attempt to. Normally, I take a lot more curb. Going down the straight and going onto the S, we dive to the inside and try hit that red paint, because that red paint is actually somewhat of a grip paint, so I take advantage of that. Going out of the S, we take as much curb as we can, and going into white tyre, we take as much curb as we can as well, in both corners, and then we do the same going into turn 1. that is actually quite simple. It's literally Brad Philpott's phrase, I would say. Use more curb, and that works really well in the wet here at Surbiton. Only a lap later is actually quite unfortunate this. Going through the corner and going into here, we've noticed that Abby has spun and we are about to lap Abby. I really do feel bad for her in this heat. Just the heat was not her favourite, I would say. And yeah, I'm about to lap her. I don't think she's going to take it that well being lapped. But yeah, it's not much we can exactly do, is there? I can't just like slow down and let her unlap me. Because like, I actually want to win. Going down the straight now, this is a few laps later, we've actually caught up to Turk, and he had a massive crash early on in the race. I think he crashed with Abby or something like that, and now we've got to try overtake him. He's sliding a lot, so I'm just going to get a switchback done and go down the inside just before white tyre, and we're able to get that move done pretty quickly, and soon it'll actually be the checker flag. Heat 2 has been pretty boring because I have just fully dominated this heat, as you will see in a minute by how far back second place was to me. About 6 or so laps later, it is now the checker flag and it is the end of the second heat. So let's actually just go over what happened in the second heat. I essentially had some good battles at the start of the race, and then I ended up just disappearing into the abyss. I think my fastest lap time was in the 31s this time, or possibly even the 30s. So I am somewhat quick, I would say. Let's just go have a look at the timings and just see how far back second place actually was to me, and also have some conversation with Abby about the incident at the start of the race.
Hey! I feel bad for you because you just got a horrible car that wouldn't start.
What did you do to my car?
Abby, I'm sorry I took you out.
It's okay. So that's 2. We've got 2 now. What do I mean?
I've somehow managed to get ahead of everyone by a lap and set the fastest time of a 31.053. The second fastest lap was a 31.444. How the hell have I done that? I am genuinely surprised how I managed to do that, considering that I was not that quick in Heat 1. I had Abby right behind me for almost a whole session before I got my act together a bit. But now I've actually got a lot of confidence going into Heat 3 and possibly even Heat 4. I can tell my colleague is quite in a jokey mood because he did this after I asked him if we could get the restrictor off.
Caleb! Restrictor please! Restrictor please!
How dare you!
He also thought it would be a good idea to turn my kart off. I don't know if it was actually him, but I'm gonna guess it was.
My kart just got turned off. My kart just got turned off.
As the green flag is shown, I get jumped off the line, which I don't take well.
No!
Now, going into the S, we are in third position, and now we've got to try and make up some positions. We got Calvin and Sid in front of us. I do give Calvin a bit of a knock. He shoves me off to the side because he can't control his kart, and now I've got Vivek next to me, and I've dropped down to 4th place. Now we've got to try and recover this and try and get as many positions as we can. I dive it down the inside of Vivek, knowing full well I have more grip than him. I do knock him a bit to the side. We are knocking each other around, but that's because of how wet it is. I do apologise for it, which is good, knowing that I just can't slide around that much. I am able to get the move done going into the S, but going out of the S, not so much. It's not that really controllable going out of the S. It's quite hard to control that kart, but luckily I know how to do it going through white tyre, and I'm able to catch up to Calvin and Sid pretty quickly. Now going down the straight, we're going to try get a move done on Calvin pretty quickly. I'm thinking, will he brake late enough where I can actually just try send it into the S, and he doesn't, but he doesn't go that well through the S, and I'm able to catch up to him pretty quickly. And going through white tyre, we're going to try cement a move down the inside because I know I've got the grip, and we do try to, and we are able to, going through the line and onto the banked corner. We are able to get past Calvin. We have equal kart parity this time, so now we know we're going to be able to get that move down the inside on the S. He does try to commit around the outside, but he sends it going right into the barriers, and we are able to cement that move now. We're going to go try get Sid, and we're going to try get first place claimed as soon as we can. Now going through the corners here, we have been able to catch up to him quite a bit going through the line and up the banked corner, because going through that section I'm a lot more confident than him. The only thing is the kart parity is really showing here, as he was able to pull a big gap to me just because of how much quicker his kart was to me. But going through these corners, we're able to catch up. I know I'm going to make progress going through here because he goes wide, I don't. I clip all of the barriers perfectly and the curb, and we're going to try and get down that inside, and we are able to with a bit of contact, but that is completely fine. And down the straight, we're going to try and keep him as much as we can. I do make a bit of contact with him, but that's fine. I commit to that inside, and we're able to get a move done. He can't go round the outside because there is no grip round that outside, and we're able to get that move done into the S. And now we've just got to try disappear from the grid and try get as many seconds away from Sid as possible to try cement that first place. And we already do, because we're able to create a massive gap going through white tyre because of how much cleaner I can take it compared to him. We're now going to go over a hot lap that I did during the session. This was a 34.95. Going onto the banked corner, we take as much curb as we can, just looking back to see where Sid is. Going down the straight, we keep right off to the side, and then going into the S, we dive to the inside, we try grab that red paint, and we're able to get through that corner pretty cleanly. Through the exit of the S, we grab as much curb as we can, and then going into white tyre, we take all the curb possible, keep to that close inside, and we're able to get an amazing speed off that line, which is absolutely amazing. And now we are at the last lap, and it is the checker flag. So this heat, me and Sid have absolutely dominated this heat. From what you'll see the distance between me and him, and then me and him and the rest of the field, and you'll see how quick me and him were able to be around this circuit. Sadly, Abby, she got a quick lap time, but she was quite far down the order. But let's just go back, have some chats with drivers, and then let's go out for the last heat.
That was elbows out.
Yeah.
Huh? No, I don't. Shut up. Testing the limits now. I'm not going to get a better lap time. I know I'm not. I'm really testing the limits of that car. How?
Heat 3 was very interesting. It showed that the elbows are fully out tonight, especially when there's no grip, and we kind of have to force our way through to get positions. But it also shows that I have a feeling more pace is to come during this session, and a better lap time is definitely going to arrive at some point. Hopefully in Heat 4, we're able to get into the 29s. I have a feeling it's very possible. We haven't even started the heat yet, and I forget that you can lock up the brakes on a Sodi.
Ow! Boy, my brakes failed! Bruv, my brakes are dead! I hit the brakes, nothing happened!
While I make excuses of my brakes failing when this kart ended up having the best brakes of the entire fleet, I've got my manager calling me a dead driver in the background. Lovely. The green flag is waved and let's get racing. Now, I've started last for this heat. All these heats are randomised. Already, I make 3 positions going into the S. I swing it round the outside. Never mind, I go and gain 2 positions instead, and I stick behind Sid. Now, there's going to be a big incident that happens going into white tyre, and I'm just going to let it play out. So, what exactly happened here? Let's slow it down a bit. So, going into here, it looks like Luke has a horrible lockup and goes into the barriers. Michael does the same thing, locks up, spins round, and spins round Abby. I almost go right into him. Sid has to take evading action, and he almost hits into me. Luckily, I'm able to control the brakes, and I'm able to get past everything without being injured. And somehow Turk made it through as well. For one time, I want to try do a last to first recovery drive. Everyone has to fucking crash. Never mind, we're just going to have to work round it. We are now in 2nd place and we've got Turk ahead of us. Surprisingly, the restrictor has not been activated yet, but now it has. Now we are going to be on restricted for quite a few laps. Now I've got to think about trying to get past Turk as quick as I can, because I know from his lines already that he's taking traditional wet lines, which is not the method at Surbiton. A traditional wet line, if you don't know, you go really wide and then you cut in. But in these Sodis and at Surbiton, you don't do that, as you can see from my hot laps. So that's where we're going to try take advantage of it, where he decides to go really wide and take a traditional line. I'm going to take the normal line and catch up to him with that. We are now finally off the restrictor and let's try get Turk. Now you'll see through the corners the traditional line is really sticking to him, and you'll see that especially going through the S. Now going down the straight, we're taking our normal lines, making sure we catch as much curb as possible so we can try rotate that car. You can see through here, he takes that traditional wide line and cuts in, but you can see I catch up so much more, and I even have a better exit than him, which is actually quite surprising because normally you have better exits when you do that traditional wide line. Now going through the white tyre and the line, we do catch up with him a lot. He does drift a lot going out of the line and going into the banked corner, but now going down the straight, we know we're going to dive it down that inside and we're going to get past him, and we are able to. He doesn't see me coming and we're able to get down that inside pretty quickly and build up a decent gap to him. Now let's try create a massive gap to him and a massive gap to the rest of the field, and let's try get into those 29-second lap times. And I know how I'm going to do. This was when I got my fastest lap. Now going through the white tyre and going onto the line, we're able to get to that inside, dive to the outside, on the banked corner, take as much curb as we can. Now down the straight, we're just going to send it round the outside, and then going into the S, going into the inside, grab that grip paint, get on that early acceleration. We're able to do that. Now surprisingly, even though I didn't grab the curb here, it was surprisingly a bit faster. Now going through here, we take the normal amount of curb. We don't take as much as we need to. We're going through here, we accelerate right into it. I'm honestly surprised that was my quickest lap, because that did not look like my fastest lap. by far. But anyway, going down the straight, we're going to send down the inside of Sid. Never mind, he actually is able to cover that off. But I get such a better exit than him that I have to back out. Luckily through here we take the normal amount of curb and we're able to just catch up that little bit more to him. And now going through these corners, it should be the last lap of the race and we're now going to try get past him. I tried to go for the inside but I just slam into those barriers on the line too much and we are not able to get a move done. Now, through here, he's thinking I'm not going to go for a move. I send it down his inside and get that move done into turn 2. And yeah, this now should be the final lap. I hop over the curb way too much. And yeah, apparently that is the end of the session. Apparently the checker flag was supposed to go out last lap, but it didn't. But yeah, now let's go back to the pits and let's find out how well we did on lap time. We already know, but we're going to see. And then we are going to talk to the drivers and then let's get ready for the final.
I mean, I fully lock it just so I can actually stop. She's like, what? I had to pump the brakes for the whole race. Oh, how the fuck?
For the final, I have qualified pole position by winning all 4 heats, which I am very surprised about because I thought my competition would be a bit more tough. I thought Vivek would really be up there and I thought Abby would really be up there. But no, actually, I rarely saw any of them. My main competitor was Sid, which I did say he was going to be at the start, but I know Vivek and Abby have track knowledge over him. But yeah, it's going to be a decent final, hopefully. And let's not hope we are stuck under restrictor for a long time.
Good luck, Turk.
The green flag is waved and let's go racing. Now, I am starting on pole position as you know. I've got Vivek next to me. I've got to try keep first place going into the first corner and I am able to. I have got the weirdest steering position. Never mind, I've gone back to the normal one. Now, going through here, we're going to try and maintain this lead and get a big gap going. But we've also got to try and make sure the consistency of our lap times is pretty close to make sure that gap actually does build up. Because as we saw from the lap times from the previous heat, I am still rapid compared to these guys. So I've just got to keep to that and hope there's no issues. And already I'm going wide because I tried to test the limits a bit too much on the opening laps. Very smart of me, but we don't mind that because we still have the lead. If we didn't have the lead, I will be a bit more annoyed. Anyway, going onto the banked corner and onto the straight, we are now actually got a decent gap. Never mind, Vivek is right behind me and he's got kart 2. That is lovely. Kart 2 is one of the quickest karts in the fleet at the moment. So yeah, having Vivek in that kart and with his experience, it is sending chills down my spine. And I'm starting to worry that I'm not going to have this lead for much longer. Because kart 5, I know in terms of straight line speed, is not that quick. And it doesn't have the best brakes. So I've got to deal with both of those and try and get a decent lap time in with these. I'm aiming for at least a 30-second lap times, at least 30-second flat in this kart, and then I know I'll be able to hit some decent lap times and also create that good gap. Now, going onto the bank corner again and onto the straight, we look behind and we see there's no Vivek. And I'm thinking, what's happened? I don't see him, and Abby is miles away. And then this is where we see it. Vivek is stopped by the side of the S, and I found out later his kart had completely died. We don't know why, but it actually happened. And it wouldn't start again, so he was stranded at that corner for a long time until the marshals were able to grab another kart and get him into that kart. So yeah, and we ended up being stuck on restrictor for about 10 or so minutes actually. It got to the point where my manager just restarted the race because it wasn't a race, this part of it, and he actually wanted us to have a good championship battle. So yes, he ended up just restarting the race, which is going to be quite unfortunate for me, and you'll see why later. So let's just skip ahead about 10 minutes until we finally get off the restrictor, and then we can actually get some racing done. After many laps under the restrictor, we finally get the restrictor released, and now we can go back to racing speeds. Now we need to try build up that gap to Abby as much as we can now, and unbeknownst to us, okay, now we're back on restrictor. What the hell's going on? Anyway, as I was saying, okay, we're back off it now. Let's just keep on racing. Anyway, as I was saying, I did not know the race was going to be reset. So I thought we were going to be near the end of the race, and I thought this is the worst win I'm ever going to have at this track. But no, it was restarted. So yeah, at least we'll get some more racing in, hopefully. And yeah, honestly, the only racing I'm going to get now is when I catch up the back markers. And that's not going to be very likely, apart from Luke, who was the only back marker that got overtaken by everyone. But we don't talk about that. Let's just try find a place where we get some racing done, because I know Abby was not able to keep up with my pace, and I was just dominating at the front for a very long time. We are now starting to catch up to some back markers. This is Luke in front of us. Now we're going to try get him going into white tyre, and then we're going to see what we can do from there. Now going into white tyre, we're going to try find a move, probably going out of the banked corner or possibly down the inside here. We do not get the best of exits, but going through here, I know he's going to go pretty wide going out of the S. So I'm thinking, let's dive it down the inside. We do. We absolutely send it with a bit of contact. Both of us go quite wide. I do tap him off to the side, but honestly, it wasn't absolute major contact. It could have gone a lot worse. Let's just say that. Now we're catching up. I think this is Michael. I'm surprised he's this far back and I'm able to already lap him now. But yeah, we are going to try get a move done. Probably going out of the banked corner, looking like where we are at this moment of time. We did catch up to him quite a bit going out of the S, and through there he actually taps the barrier. Then down into these corners here, out of white tyre, he goes pretty wide, so I'm thinking let's get that switchback done. We are not able to as much, but I'm just going to keep behind him, and I know I'm going to cement a move down the inside going into the S. We do, we get that move done, brake late, and yeah, now this is where the big incident happens. It was quite bad going through white tyre. Something happens and a wire comes loose.
Yo! What the f***?
So, what exactly happened to my kart? Let's slow it down. As I go over this curb, it loosens a wire that keeps the engine on, and then going over this second curb, after all of the bouncing over all of the sessions, well mainly this one, the wire comes completely loose and cuts the engine. What the f***? As you can hear, I'm not taking this well at all because I wasn't expecting to have this type of kart issue.
What? Bro, kart, what the f***?
And you were first, bro.
As expected, the kart was not restarting, so I had to be shoved back into the pits, and the worst part was, I got kart free again. I also had my manager rage baiting me in this moment, which I did not take lightly.
You're dead.
Bro, that's not me. Come on.
What?
Bro, don't even.
No, sure. Number three.
Sake, I got the worst power top.
After that big kart issue, I've now got 3 minutes, as I saw on the timer, to make up 6 laps if I actually wanted to win this thing, which we all know is not going to happen. Already, I'm just going to dive it down the inside of Michael. I don't really care what happens. I'm losing anyway. I'm just taking risks, and I'm just starting to drift as well because I've got cold tyres. Honestly, I was driving with pure anger for the last 3 minutes. I wasn't happy with it, but honestly, I do not blame myself in the moment because having that sort of kart issue when you had a massive gap to second place, I think people wouldn't react as bad as me.
Honestly.
As you can tell by my reactions, I'm not taking this lightly at all. I am really not happy, and honestly, my reactions to that kart is just going to get worse and worse and worse, as you're going to see while I'm going down the straight and going into VS.
Oh, on my face now. I don't even have a advantage anymore. I had the windshield.
Yeah, there was so much swearing in this. Anyway, let's just go to the checker flag, because honestly, I was just passing people for no reason. I was basically just unlapping myself. Guys, just be prepared for all the swearing that's about to come out of my mouth.
The best drivers to Romania. I'm turning them all off.
Honestly, no words can describe what happened tonight. I had a horrible final and a horrible start to this championship. And honestly, I only have myself to blame, really. I can't fix a kart issue, and I can't be mad at that because karts will have their issues from time to time, and I got unlucky. Now, the next video, I decided after the Surbiton sprint that I needed to go do something fun. So, I went to go visit a new track, a track that I was aiming to beat my friend's BIKC regional time. Team Sport Harlow. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and see you at Harlow.